All right, so today we're going to dive deep into the world of water treatment and infrastructure in India.
Sounds refreshing.
And, you've given us some really good sources to start with.
Yeah.
We have this earnings call transcript from Ion Exchange, India Limited,
Right.
a company that is, specializing in water treatment solutions.
Mhm.
And then we have this in-depth report on the Indian water sector from Ashika Institutional Research.
Yeah. Great sources.
Yeah, so it's like we have both like a backstage pass to one specific company, A&D, like a bird's eye view of the entire sector.
Yeah, they really complement each other well.
Yeah.
The earnings call gives us that granular company-specific perspective,
Mm-hmm.
while the report provides the panoramic view of the trends and challenges.
Yeah, and so our mission today is to really try to distill the key takeaways from these sources.
Right.
Understand what forces are shaping this industry.
Yeah.
And most importantly, why should you care as a listener?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Exactly. It's about understanding those forces and how they're impacting a company like Ion Exchange.
so Ion Exchange, from what I've gathered, they're not just dipping their toes in the water here.
No, not at all.
They have a pretty impressive reach,
They really do.
it seems like.
It's almost like a water treatment trifecta.
A trifecta.
Mm.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell me, what does each of these divisions do?
So they have three main areas: engineering, chemicals, and consumer products.
Okay.
Their engineering division is where the heavy lifting happens.
Okay.
That's where they design and build those large-scale water treatment plants,
Gotcha.
the ones that serve entire industries and municipalities.
So they're like the masterminds behind the infrastructure.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about chemicals? What's cooking in their labs?
That's where they're creating the secret sauce.
Okay.
They manufacture those specialized chemicals that are essential for the water treatment process.
So not just the hardware, but also the essential ingredients too. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. And then lastly, consumer products.
Yeah, this is where we see the water filters in homes and offices.
Gotcha.
The everyday stuff.
Okay. So they're tackling this on multiple fronts.
Right.
Large scale projects the essential chemical components and then solutions for just individual consumers.
Mm.
A pretty comprehensive approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This vertical integration is quite unique, and it gives them a strategic edge in the market.
Okay. So we've got a sense of what Ion Exchange does.
Yeah.
But how are they actually performing?
Right.
Are they swimming with the current or are they struggling to stay afloat?
Well, their earnings call transcript gives us a glimpse into their financial health.
Okay.
And the engineering division in particular has seen some remarkable revenue growth, such as 34% year on year.
34%. Wow, that's a pretty impressive surge.
It is. And much of this growth can be attributed to large EPC contracts.
EPC.
That stands for engineering, procurement, and construction.
The EPC trifecta.
Yes, exactly.
But here's where things get a little bit interesting. Despite this huge revenue growth, their EBIT margin,
Right.
that's their earnings before interest and taxes, has actually taken a dip.
You've hit a crucial point.
Yeah, it seems a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, because this decline in EBIT margin, despite that revenue growth, raises some questions about their long-term profitability.
Yeah, why would profitability shrink when revenue is soaring?
Well, a couple factors at play here.
Okay.
One, they have this onerous contract situation.
Onerous contract, that doesn't sound good.
No, it's not great.
What is that?
It's a project that's experiencing cost overruns and eating into their margins.
I see. So how much of an impact are we talking?
It's impacting their margins by 150 to 200 basis points.
Okay.
And they've been pretty tight-lipped about the specifics, which raises even more questions.
Yeah.
Is this a sign of broader industry challenges?
Right.
Or perhaps missteps specific to Ion Exchange?
It definitely piques the curiosity.
Agreed.
Is this like a one-time hiccup, or could this be a sign of things to come?
We'll have to see.
And then to add another layer of complexity, we have this UP Jal Nigam project.
Yes.
This major government contract, which seems to be stuck in slow motion.
Right. The UP Jal Nigam project is a good example of the hurdles companies in this sector often face.
Yeah.
Funding constraints, bureaucratic delays.
Yeah.
These have significantly hampered its execution.
So it's not just about winning the contract. It's also about navigating the complexities of government projects.
Absolutely.
And these delays ultimately impact the company's cash flow. Right?
They do.
So it raises a broader question.
Yeah.
Are these delays and funding issues symptomatic of deeper problems within these government initiatives in the water sector?
Potentially.
Could this hinder the progress of these crucial projects?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
You have this ambition of these initiatives clashing with the realities of implementation.
Right. On one hand, the government is pushing for these initiatives like the Jal Jeevan mission to provide clean water to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you have these delays,
Yeah.
which seem to contradict that urgency.
Indeed, a very complex situation.
Okay, so we have a mixed bag for Ion Exchange's engineering division.
Yeah.
Remarkable growth, but also margin pressures
Right.
from that troublesome contract
Uh-huh.
and the sluggish government project.
Yeah.
But hey, let's not judge the entire company based on one division's performance.
Sure.
Let's move on to their chemicals division. What's the story there?
Well, their chemicals division has been experiencing steady growth,
Okay.
consistently clocking in around INR 200 crore in revenue over the past few quarters.
Steady, but not quite the, explosive growth that we saw in engineering.
Right.
Is there a reason for this more, measured pace?
Well, the earnings call gave us some insight into that.
Okay.
Their current chemical plants are operating at 65 to 70% capacity utilization.
So there's room to grow there?
Yeah.
But I also remember something about a new chemical plant in the works.
Oh, you're talking about the one in Roham, Maharashtra.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
They're investing a substantial INR 400 crore in this new facility.
That's a bold move.
It is.
So what's the timeline on this new plant?
Well, as of December 2024,
Mm-hmm.
they've already poured over 50% of the project cost into it.
Wow.
And they're aiming to commence commercial production by Q1 or Q2 of FY26.
So sometime in the first half of next year.
Hopefully, if all goes according to plan.
Yeah, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
But what kind of impact could this new plant have on their chemicals division?
Right.
Is this like a potential game changer?
It has that potential.
Okay.
The Roha plant will significantly boost their production capacity,
Hmm.
potentially opening up new revenue streams and markets.
That's exciting.
It is.
But let's be realistic. Large-scale projects like this, they always come with inherent risks.
Of course.
Will they be able to effectively utilize this increased capacity?
You're right.
Can they secure enough customers for this expanded product line?
Those are the million-dollar questions.
Yeah.
And the answers will definitely shape Ion Exchange's future growth and profitability.
It's definitely something for our listeners to watch closely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've explored the inner workings of Ion Exchange, their different divisions, the good, the bad, the potentially game-changing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget about that bigger picture,
Right.
the overall landscape of India's water sector.
Yeah.
And that's where the Yashika report comes in handy, right?
Absolutely. The report paints a vivid picture of the trends and challenges shaping this industry.
Okay, so what are the key takeaways?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is the sheer scale of India's water needs.
Okay.
The country's home to 18% of the world's population, but it possesses only 4% of global water resources.
So a classic case of too many mouths to feed or too many throats to quench, I guess, in this case.
Yeah, and this demand is only going to increase.
Right. And I'm guessing this isn't simply a matter of finding new water sources.
It's
There's got to
right.
be more to it.
You're right. The report highlights that this issue is compounded by factors like groundwater depletion and widespread water pollution.
That makes sense.
So it's not just about the quantity, but also the quality.
Right. A polluted water source adds another layer of complexity to all of this.
Exactly.
It sounds like India's water sector is facing a perfect storm.
In a way.
Rising demand, dwindling supply, and deteriorating quality.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this mean for companies operating in this space?
Well, you know what they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, India's water crisis is actually creating this huge demand for innovative water treatment solutions.
So in a way, this crisis could actually be like a catalyst for growth and innovation.
It could.
The more pressing the need, the greater the demand.
Yeah, but it's not a simple equation.
Okay.
While the market potential is undeniable, navigating this challenging landscape requires a really deep understanding of the complexities at play.
Right, like those government project delays we discussed earlier.
Exactly.
It's not always smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So what specific opportunities does the Ashika report highlight?
Okay, so there are several.
Okay.
First, government initiatives like the Jal Jeevan mission, or JJM,
Uh-huh.
and the Namami Gange program are pouring billions of rupees into the water sector.
So those government contracts, while sometimes frustratingly slow,
Right.
are ultimately a significant source of revenue for these companies.
Absolutely.
What else is on the horizon?
Well, the report also points to a growing focus on wastewater treatment and reuse.
Okay.
This is driven by both stricter regulations and the increasing scarcity of freshwater resources.
Like turning lemons into lemonade.
Yeah.
taking wastewater and transforming it into a valuable resource.
Precisely.
I imagine technology plays a crucial role in this process.
Absolutely. The report specifically mentions emerging technologies like zero liquid discharge,
Right.
or ZLD, and desalination as key growth drivers in this sector.
ZLD, that sounds intriguing. What is that?
Think of it as a closed-loop system. ZLD aims to minimize wastewater discharge by treating and recovering as much water as possible.
So squeezing every last drop of usable water out of the system.
Right.
Pretty ingenious.
Okay, and desalination.
Yeah.
Isn't that basically transforming seawater into fresh water?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a technology that's gaining traction, especially in coastal areas grappling with water shortages.
It's amazing how these technological advancements are just changing the game.
Yeah, the landscape is constantly evolving.
So we've got government initiatives, a growing emphasis on wastewater treatment,
Right.
and the emergence of these cutting-edge technologies. It sounds like a very dynamic landscape.
It is. And as the sector evolves, we're also seeing a surge in competition,
Okay.
both with domestic and international players vying for a slice of the pie.
So it's not just ion exchange in the game here.
No, not at all.
Who are some of the other major contenders in this water treatment arena?
Well, in the water treatment EPC space,
EPC being.
engineering, procurement, and construction.
Right. You've got companies like VA Tech Wabag and Wellspun Enterprises making significant strides.
Okay, I've definitely heard those names before. What makes them stand out?
They both have impressive track records of executing these large-scale projects
Okay.
with order books worth billions of rupees.
You give us the numbers.
So Vietech Wabag boasts an order book of INR 114,000 crore,
Wow.
while Wellspun Enterprises sits at a whopping INR 122,000 crore.
Those numbers are mind-boggling.
They are.
What's their secret sauce? What strategies are they employing to secure these huge projects?
It seems they're focusing on carving out specific niches.
Okay.
So VA Tech Wabag is making a big push into desalination projects and expanding their footprint in the Middle East,
Right.
a region grappling with acute water scarcity.
So they're thinking globally,
They are.
tapping into these markets beyond India's borders.
Exactly. And they were recently the lowest bidder for a massive INR 60 billion project in Saudi Arabia.
Wow, so that's a smart move considering, water scarcity is a global challenge.
Absolutely.
What about Wellspun Enterprises? What's their game plan?
Wellspun Enterprises is doubling down on water infrastructure projects within India.
Okay.
They recently secured a contract for a colossal 2,000 MLD water treatment plant in Maharashtra.
2,000 MLD, what does that even mean?
Million liters per day.
Million liters per day. Wow. Okay, so they're focusing on bolstering India's water infrastructure.
Yes.
It's interesting to see these different approaches.
Yeah.
But are there any smaller players making waves?
There are.
Any underdogs that we should keep an eye on?
Absolutely. The report highlights a few interesting contenders.
Such as?
One is Triveni Engineering.
Okay.
Their water business is experiencing significant growth,
Uh-huh.
and they're strategically focusing on HAM projects.
HAM projects, what is that?
That's the hybrid annuity model.
Okay.
It's essentially a public-private partnership model
Gotcha.
where the government and private companies share the responsibility for financing and executing these infrastructure projects.
So a collaborative approach.
Yes.
Spreading the financial risk a little bit.
Precisely.
It sounds like a smart strategy, especially for companies navigating these complexities of government projects.
Absolutely.
Is Triveni Engineering sticking to the domestic market, or are they venturing beyond India as well?
They're actually looking to expand their international presence with new orders coming in from Europe.
So a company on the rise with a global outlook.
Yes.
Are there any other underdogs catching your eye?
Another one to watch is Vishu Prakash Punglia,
Okay.
a company specializing in water supply and sanitation projects.
Mm-hmm.
And they boast an impressive EBITDA margin.
EBITDA margin. Now, for those of us who aren't financial whizzies,
Right.
what does that actually tell us?
It's a measure of the company's operating profitability,
All right.
indicating how much profit they generate from their core operations.
So despite being a smaller player,
Yes,
they're squeezing out more profit from their projects.
they are. And in fact, they have the highest EBITDA margin among JJM projects.
That's impressive. Are they primarily focused on specific regions, or are they casting a wider net?
They're expanding geographically as well,
Okay.
securing new orders from states like Goa, Tamil Nadu, and Telangana.
Okay, so we've got the big players, the rising stars, a healthy dose of geographical expansion.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like India's water treatment market is really heating up.
It is as competition intensifies.
Yeah.
Companies are constantly innovating and differentiating themselves.
Trying to stand out from the crowd.
Exactly.
So what are some of the key strategies that we're seeing play out here?
One trend is specialization.
Okay.
Companies are focusing on specific areas of water treatment, whether it's desalination, CLD, or treating industrial wastewater.
Oh.
This allows them to develop expertise and target specific customer segments.
So like becoming the go-to experts in their chosen field?
Exactly.
What other strategies are they employing?
Another strategy is vertical integration,
Okay.
which we already saw with ion exchange. By controlling multiple stages of the value chain,
Right.
from manufacturing chemicals to constructing plants.
Yeah.
They can increase efficiency and potentially reduce costs.
So the classic, like, control your destiny approach.
Yeah.
Interesting. Are there any other notable strategies?
Many companies are expanding their service offerings,
Right.
particularly in the area of operations and maintenance, or O&M.
O&M. So not just building the plants,
Right.
but also managing and maintaining them over the long term.
Exactly. And O&M contracts provide a steady stream of recurring revenue,
Gotcha.
and they foster those long-term relationships with clients.
It's a win-win.
It is.
Okay, so we've established that the competition is fierce. These companies are getting creative with their strategies.
Yeah.
But let's talk numbers. Are they actually making money in this sector?
Well, the Ashika's report dives into their financial performance,
Okay.
highlighting key metrics like the 3-year revenue CAGR.
The AGR.
That gives us a sense of how rapidly their revenue has been growing.
KDGR. That's compound annual growth rate, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the story the numbers are telling?
We're seeing a wide range of performance.
Okay.
Some companies like Wellspun Enterprises and EMS have demonstrated impressive revenue growth,
Okay.
with CAGRs of 28.9% and 30.1% respectively.
Those are some seriously impressive growth rates.
They are.
But are they translating this revenue growth into actual profit?
Right. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And that's where the 3-year CAGR comes in.
Pat KG.
That's the compound annual growth rate of profit after tax.
Okay.
And again, we see varying performance. Companies like VA Tech Wabag and Wellspun Corp have delivered strong PAT CAGRs of 23.8% and 36.8% respectively.
Okay, so some companies have found that sweet spot of both, robust growth and healthy profitability.
Yeah.
But I imagine not everyone is having such a smooth ride.
You're right. The report also mentions companies that have struggled with profitability despite revenue growth. SPML Infra, for instance, has actually seen its pay decline over the past 3 years.
A cautionary tale.
It is.
What factors contributed to their struggles?
Well, they've been grappling with low margin orders from the past and have faced challenges with pending arbitration awards.
It's a reminder that even in a growing sector, success isn't guaranteed.
No, it's not.
So there are some inherent risks involved, as with any investment.
Absolutely.
What are some of the key risks that investors should be aware of?
Well, the report highlights a few.
Yeah.
First, there's execution risk associated with these large-scale infrastructure projects.
Right.
Delays cost, overruns, unforeseen challenges. All these things can significantly impact profitability.
We saw that firsthand with Ion Exchange's onerous contract situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Another risk stems from government policy and regulation. Changes in priorities, funding allocations, or environmental regulations.
Right.
These can all have a ripple effect on the industry.
It's a highly regulated sector.
It is.
So any policy shift can really make or break a company's prospects. Are there any other significant risks to consider?
Well, there's always the risk of intensifying competition, new entrants, technological advancements, aggressive bidding wars.
Yeah.
These can all squeeze profit margins and create challenges for the established players.
Okay, so there are definitely risks to be aware of.
Yes.
But let's not forget about the potential rewards.
Right.
What's the upside for investors who are willing to, navigate these choppy waters?
Well, the Ashika report makes a compelling case for the long-term growth potential of India's water sector.
Okay.
They point to the sheer size of the market, the government's commitment to water infrastructure development, and the increasing awareness of water scarcity and pollution as key drivers.
So the fundamentals are strong, even if the short-term outlook can be volatile.
Exactly.
What are some of the potential rewards that investors might see?
As the industry matures, we can expect to see consolidation, with the stronger players gaining market share and potentially commanding higher valuations.
So for savvy investors who can identify those future winners,
Right.
there's a significant opportunity for growth there.
Absolutely.
But beyond the financial gains, wouldn't you say there's also a really compelling ethical dimension to investing in this sector?
Investing in this sector aligns with a broader sustainability agenda.
Mm.
By supporting companies that are developing these innovative solutions for water treatment and conservation,
Right.
you can actually contribute to a more water-secure future for India.
It's about aligning your investments with your values,
Right.
contributing to a positive impact while potentially reaping financial rewards.
It's a powerful combination.
It really is. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into India's water sector.
We have.
We've examined ion exchange's performance, explored the competitive landscape,
Yes.
analyzed the financial performance of some key players.
Right.
We've discussed the inherent risks and potential rewards for investors.
Yes, we've painted a comprehensive picture of this dynamic industry.
But before we wrap up this segment,
Okay.
let's synthesize all of this.
Yeah.
What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
Okay, so the key takeaway here is that India's water sector is at a crossroads.
Okay.
The challenges are immense,
Yeah.
but so are the opportunities. It's a sector ripe with innovation urgency and vast potential.
It's a story that's still being written.
It is.
The decisions made today,
Yeah.
the investment poured in, the technologies embraced,
Right.
they will shape the future of this sector and ultimately India's water security.
Exactly. And this is why it matters to you as a listener.
That's right.
This is a sector that impacts everyone. And understanding the forces at play
Yeah.
is crucial for making informed decisions.
Right.
Whether you're considering investment opportunities or simply want to be a more conscious citizen.
You've given us a lot to ponder. Any final thoughts before we move on to the last part of our deep dive?
Here's a question to contemplate as we transition.
Okay.
We've discussed the government's role, the private companies vying for contracts, the technological advancements driving innovation.
Right.
But what about the role of individual citizens?
Yeah.
What can you do to contribute to a more water-secure future for India?
That's a great question to leave our listeners with.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that this isn't just a story about big corporations and government policies.
Right.
It's a story we're all a part of,
Exactly.
that we all have a role to play.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. So we've journeyed through the complexities of India's water sector,
Yeah.
from the financial performance of companies like Ion Exchange to those larger trends shaping the industry.
Right.
But as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's time to shift our focus from the boardrooms and balance sheets to something a bit more personal. Your role as an individual in this water story.
Indeed, in the last part, we left you with a question.
Yeah.
What can individuals do to contribute to a more water-secure future for India?
Yeah.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the challenges and think that individual actions won't make much of a difference.
I get that feeling too sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just one tiny drop in a vast ocean.
Right.
But I'm hoping you're going to tell me that even those tiny drops, when combined.
Absolutely. Can
Yeah.
create a powerful wave.
Okay, I'm ready to make some waves.
Great.
So where do we even begin?
Let's start with the foundation water conservation.
Okay.
It's something we can all embrace, regardless of our income or location.
It's about being mindful of our water usage, right?
Exactly.
Like turning off the tap while brushing our teeth,
Right.
fixing leaky faucets,
Like those little things we often overlook,
Yeah.
but when practiced consistently, they can lead to significant water savings.
Okay, so what else can we do beyond our own homes?
Another powerful step is to become informed and educate others about water issues.
So spreading the word, raising awareness, busting those water myths.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, what about community involvement? Does that play a role?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Supporting local organizations that are working on water conservation,
Right.
rainwater harvesting, or protecting our watersheds, that can make a real difference.
There's power in collective action.
Yeah.
Speaking of community, what about businesses?
Yeah.
They're major water consumers.
They are. But many businesses are taking steps to reduce their water footprint
Okay.
by implementing water-efficient technologies and practices.
Okay, so as consumers,
Yeah.
we can choose to support businesses that prioritize water stewardship.
Exactly. It's like voting with our wallets.
Yeah, and that sends a strong message to the market.
It does.
And of course, we can't forget about the role of the government.
Absolutely.
Right.
We can advocate for policies that promote water conservation, encourage efficient irrigation techniques, and implement stricter regulations on industrial water pollution.
It's about using our voices
Yes.
and holding our elected officials accountable
Right.
for creating a more sustainable water future.
Precisely.
So it's a multi-pronged approach.
Yeah.
Individual actions, community involvement,
Right.
supporting responsible businesses, and advocating for policy change.
Exactly. Recognizing that water security is a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
We all have a part to play, and every effort, no matter how small, contributes to the solution.
This deep dive into India's water sector has been so eye-opening.
It has.
We've gone from understanding the financial performance of companies like Ion Exchange to exploring those broader trends and challenges facing the industry. And now we've even brought it home, recognizing our own roles as individuals in this water story.
It's been a journey from the boardroom to the bathroom.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's a journey that doesn't end here.
No, it doesn't.
We've provided information, insights, and hopefully a spark of inspiration.
Yeah.
But it's up to each of you, our listeners, to take that next step.
Remember, every drop counts.
Every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a more water-secure future for India.
Absolutely.
So, dear listeners, go forth and make some waves.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
So, until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay hydrated.